Hey everyone, how's it going? Today I'd like to talk about something that's kind of unique to Japanese as compared to the English language, and this is how you say I or myself in Japanese. Um, Now, this is quite different for guys and girls, so I'll start with guys and then talk about girls as well. And this is kind of going to be a bit about based on my own experiences, so it'll be a little bit different depending on where you live in Japan and what you're doing. So first off, as you might know, Japanese is very hierarchical in its formality when you're speaking Japanese. This means the type of Japanese I use will be dependent on my position compared to the people who I'm speaking with and those around me. So sometimes I need to be more formal and sometimes I don't. So basically when you first start learning Japanese, the first word you will learn to use to express myself or I is watashi. So I'll just say it again one more time. Watashi. Here's the kanji. Now this is a very, very polite form of saying I. Using this in any situation, really, you can't go wrong and be impolite. So, for example, if I want to say, my name is Jason, watashi no namae wa Jason desu. And it's very simple and very polite. And really, like I said, you can't go wrong using it. Saying that, out of polite and formal situations, I don't really use watashi. It's a little too polite actually, and it will create a sense of distance between me and my partner or the person I'm talking to. So for instance, if I have a friend that I've known for a long time and we're about the same age and we're doing the same sort of things, and if I'm always using watashi, then it sounds a little weird. And actually when I was living in Japan for the first time, I was taught watashi. I didn't know any of the words, and my friends around me at first, they didn't say anything, but eventually one of my friends told me, hey Jason, when you're speaking Japanese to us, it's great that you're using watashi, it's nice and polite, but really as we're friends, it'd be better if you use a different type of word, and which I'll go over now. So when you're with friends, or you want to be a little less informal, or a little more informal, you can use the word boku as a guide, mainly as a guide. And it works the same way. Boku wa Jason desu. Boku no namae wa Jason desu. Or if you want to be even more informal, and especially guys, you can use the word ore. Now this is, you'll see a lot in anime and things like that. If you're into Japanese, you'll probably come across it quite a bit. And it's usually what I use when I'm speaking with my friends of the same age and stuff like that. It's just ore wa J, ore wa J reo. It's less formal. It's a little more, you could say, cool, and it shows the opponent that you consider them to be on, or shows the person you're talking to that you consider them to be on the same level as you, and that there's a closer relationship there. So watch who you're talking with. Don't just automatically jump into ore, because it'll sound like you're a little bit arrogant if you do that with people who you should be using boku or watashi with. Kind of look around, feel the, read what they call kuki, the atmosphere of the environment you're in, and see which works best for you. Your friends might point it out to you like mine did as well. But in a general way, general sense, starting out with watashi, you'll never really go wrong. Now, moving on to female speakers of Japanese. So, female speakers of Japanese can also use watashi. That's the basic, you all start out there. And if you want to be a little more feminine or a little more polite even, you can also use atashi, starting with an A instead of a W, atashi. Now again, these are nice and formal. Japanese, when females are speaking Japanese, they tend to be a little bit more polite. Just in general in their speaking. You won't really find too many girls that would use boku or ore. You might come across that, but not too often, not very often at all. More often than not though, other than watashi or atashi, atashi is very, very feminine. Not too many of my friends I've ever heard use it. But you might come across people just saying uchi, which means like just myself. Uchi wa sa, or stuff like that. Or younger girls often also use their own name when speaking to you. So you might have someone named, I don't know, Yuko, And she always says, Yuko wa sa. And you're like, I thought you were Yuko. Why are we talking about somebody else whose name is also Yuko? So some younger girls do use their own name when speaking about themselves. And, just get used to it, and you should be fine. Saying all this, so far, just a quick review. We got, for guys, it's basically Watashi, Boku, and Ore. And then for girls, it could be Watashi, Atashi, Uchi, or their name. Now, saying that, if you look up online and talk to some people, there are actually over 100 ways to express yourself, depending on the period, your status, who you are, who you're talking to, and all that kind of stuff. So obviously I can't get into all of that right here and now, because you don't want to listen to me talk for an hour, I'm sure. So now, some of the other things that just for fun that I've come across that I noticed some people say, with ore, you can say ore-sama. And if you want to really make yourself sound important and kind of like a stuck-up jerk, you can say ore-sama. Or if you want to use an older form of it, there's onore. And again, the kanji for that is really cool. I really like it. But again, you'll sound kind of arrogant and a little bit stuck up. Onore. And Japanese people will kind of be wondering why you're speaking like that. But just for fun, sometimes you might want to do it. And then, yeah, also, depending on where you live in Japan, there'll be colloquial ways of saying it as well. I'm not even going to get close to getting into all that kind of stuff because it's pretty different where you live. So if you're, say, up in Tohoku or down in Kyushu or Hokkaido, maybe you're here in Kansai or Kanto, like Tokyo and that, people might say something different. So again, listen to what's going on around you. Pick up what your friends are using to you, maybe what your professors might be saying to you, or what your boss might be using when they speak to you and stuff like that. Ask around, see what your colleagues are using when they speak to your boss. Again, what your classmates are using when they speak to your professor. And learn those different situations and what people are using in Japanese, especially with the I part. Because it will, this will, in a conversation, it'll show the person you're talking to where you think you are compared to them. Are you above them, below them, with them, and that. And so if you make a mistake that way, you can actually be considered quite rude and come across as quite arrogant. So be careful with that. Don't always just use ore because you think it's cool, because your teacher or your boss really might not appreciate it. Trust me firsthand on that. I've seen people make some pretty silly mistakes with that. So anyways, so I hope this helps. Always listen with your ears. Talk. You got 2 ears and 1 mouth, so listen twice as much as you speak. You'll pick up a lot of Japanese that way, and be flexible in how you speak. And yeah, have fun with it. If you have any questions, throw us a question down in the comments. Happy to get back to you as soon as I can. Pretty good with that. And always subscribe. And cheers. Good luck.